Welcome, fellow Disney Channel babes, whether you're from the nostalgic 90s
or the awkward aughts,
or you're giving Gen Z. We're glad that you're here.
I'm Gabriella.
And I'm Natalie, and this is the podcast where we rave
and sometimes roast
classic Disney Channel original movies.
You're listening to Once Upon a DCOM.
Hello, Disney-loving besties. Welcome back to Once Upon a DCOM, the podcast where we take deep dives into your favorite Disney Channel original movies, one rewatch at a time. My name is Natalie, and this is my co-host, Gabby.
How's it going?
We are both Disney-loving film nerds, and we are randomly selecting a new Disney Channel original movie to watch or rewatch every single week. So far, we've already rewatched and discussed classics like High School Musical, Camp Rock, Smart House, and way more. But this month, we are dedicating exclusively to spooky season and all of the Halloween DCOMs. So this week, we watched one of my all-time favorites, Twitches.
As you have said, the Halloween ones are your favorite, so I know this is a good time for you.
Oh yeah, for sure. The Halloween DCOMs are better than, listen, I love High School Musical. Nothing beats High School Musical, but all of the Halloween DCOMs collectively is just the best.
We're not even a full minute in yet, and we've already heard from Natalie on how High School Musical is the best. Every single episode we have to have a note. No, I'm not. Yeah, no, I love the Halloween DCOMs. They're so much fun. And I agree, as a collection especially, when you're in the mood and you're in the season, it's the best.
Yeah, I feel like that was the best time on Disney Channel was the lead up. I think they always started last week of September, but you jump into the month of Halloween all month long, and every single night was one of these DCOMs, and I just absolutely loved it.
Fall in general is just such a fun, special time in the world.
Yeah.
And it's so many people's favorite season for good reason. And in our world, in our culture especially, it just gets so hyped up. And I love it. I love the changing leaves. I love the costumes of Halloween. I love spooky season, the candy, the PSLs. Every bit of it is perfection. And this just adds, it's like the sprinkles on top. Or the candy corn on top.
The candy corn on top. I love that. All right. Let me give a little bit of intro before we start our recap into the film. So Twitches is a 2005 film starring twins Tia and Tamera Mowry and directed by Daniel Berenson, who wrote other DCOMs like Camp Rock 2 and Hannah Montana the movie. Love that. But my favorite tidbit about Daniel Berenson is that he was also a writer and executive producer on Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
I loved that show.
I'm clearly he knows a thing or two about the very specific niche that is teenage witches.
Clearly. That's so fun. I forgot about that show until you just said it.
How could you? I love that show.
That's
that
the one
cat,
with the talking cat, right?
Yep. He was my spirit animal. Loved him. All right. Originally, when Twitches was cast, Tia was supposed to play Cameron and Tamera was supposed to play Alex, but the sisters went to production and asked for their roles to be switched because they each felt more connected to the other's role, which I just think is so fun.
That is so interesting.
Because I think they're perfectly cast in this movie, and the fact that they were opposite at first, it's just so funny to me.
I think we'll probably get into this later, but the fact that both you and I are part of a sister partnership, we're not twins, but you have a sister and I have a sister, and that's it. I think that's hilarious that they just knew, nope, this is mine, this is yours. We can just partner off that way.
For sure. And I mean, we'll talk about it, but I definitely identified so strongly with Alex and not at all with Cameron growing up.
Oh, we'll get to it because I think you and I have very specific counterparts.
I think you might understand which one you might be.
I think any of our listeners could have guessed this.
Yes. All right, last fun fact for you here. When this movie was filmed, Tia and Tamera were both 27 years old, playing 21-year-olds. They look fantastic, you couldn't tell. But Kristen Wilson, who played their birth mother, Miranda, was only 9 years older than them. And then even more, Karen Holness, who played Cameron's adopted mother, was only a year older than Tia and Tamera. She was 28 and they were 27.
Wow, I can't believe that because she actually looks a lot older than them. The mom, the real mom, the queen, she looks about their age. And I was going to say that later. She looks way too young to be their mom. But the adoptive mom, I genuinely thought she was much older than them. So that's shocking.
I know, wild, right? So sorry that was a long intro, but I just thought some of those things were too good not to share before we jump in.
I love long intros. Whenever I'm the one introing it, I'm like, how many fun facts can I fit in here?
Squeeze
Because
into
I
one.
love
Yeah.
them. So, yeah, give me all the fun facts every
I
time.
tried to pull a Gabby. I tried to, yeah. All right.
Great job.
Gabby, please jump into our recap.
Yes. Let me start with for a movie that takes place over the course of exactly one day, there is so much to explain. So get comfortable, everyone. Our story begins in the magical land of Coventry, where the kingdom is being threatened by an evil force known as the Darkness. We see a man who we later learn is King Aaron. He kind of rules over the land, and he leaves two baby girls on the floor of a castle and then performs some kind of magic on them to protect them, and then the babies are taken away to our realm, the real world, where they grow up unaware of each other's existence. Flash forward, it's both of the girls' 21st birthday because they're actually twins, and also their birthday is on Halloween, which is why it's a Halloween movie. We learn that Cameron has grown up in a very wealthy, though somewhat sheltered life where every day is mostly about her. And Alex has lived a more humble existence. She's currently crashing on her best friend's couch, and we learn that her mom, her single mom who had adopted her, recently passed away just within the last few months because, of course, she did. This is a Disney movie. So,
Mm-hmm.
as per always, one of the parents must be dead. So Alex decides to go out on her birthday to look for a job because she doesn't like fun. And Cameron goes out shopping for her birthday party, which is later that night. And then by destiny, they meet for the very first time.
By destiny and by interference.
Yes, and I'll come back to that. At first, the twins are terrified to discover one another, but Cameron quickly becomes excited and giddy over the whole situation. Alex remains skeptical for a minute, but eventually they discover that they can perform magic when they hold hands, and Alex gets on board with the whole exciting part of having a magical twin sister. So the movie takes the next several scenes to show the girls developing their relationship and getting to know one another better. They also meet their protectors, Karsh and Illeana, who were the couple that
My
saved them.
favorites. My favorites.
They're amazing. We have to talk about them.
Yes.
I have thoughts. They were the ones who kind of took the babies away and got them to safety when they were young. They're also the ones that meddled and interfered to get the twins to meet each other on their birthday. So they're pretty fun. Karsh and Ileana explain that they have been watching over the girls their whole lives because they all come from a faraway land, and the twins are actually the fulfillment of an ancient prophecy, and they must return to their homeland to defeat the darkness. The girls also discover that Cameron is an artist with the gift of sight who only draws in the morning, and Alex is a writer with the gift of knowing who can only write when the moon is up. Karsh explains that these gifts were given to the girls by their father, that was King Aaron from the beginning, on the night that he was killed, and on the day that the twins were sent away. A little later, Alex somehow opens a barrier through Cameron's closet, which leads them into their homeland of Coventry. The girls are amazed at first, but then they quickly begin arguing because Cameron really wants nothing to do with this war that's going on. She only wants to return home and have her birthday party, whereas Alex really wants to stay and help fight the darkness. And she wants to meet her birth mother, but she knows that she can't defeat the darkness without Cameron there. So Cameron storms away back to her own world and begins getting ready for her birthday party. Alex returns to where she's staying with her best friend Lucinda, and then her and Lucinda get into a fight over how Alex has been acting that day. So then, in a determined rage, Alex reopens the door to Coventry, and she goes in search of her birth mother and to help however she can. She and her mother have a tearful reunion, and Alex meets her uncle Thantos, who apparently married the queen after his brother Aaron died. So that is uncomfortable.
Yeah, real Hamlet situation there.
It's awkward, but he seems super great to Alex, and so they all start talking about what they can do to defeat this darkness without Cameron there. Meanwhile, back in our world, Cameron's party has begun, but she is not able to enjoy any of it. She feels bad for leaving Alex and the darkness, and she is struggling with the idea of meeting her birth mother since she already has an adoptive mother who she loves. Cameron eventually opens up to her mom at the party, telling her everything, and her mom gives the most beautiful wisdom, I think, in any Disney movie that says, love is infinite. You can always make more when you need it.
Mm-hmm. So good.
I think that's beautiful. After that, Cameron tells her mom about the darkness and the prophecy she's meant to fulfill, and her mom remembers some scary little drawings that she did as a girl. They go find the drawing, and it is revealed that the face inside the darkness that Cameron's been drawing is actually Thantos, Aaron's brother.
Shock and awe.
Everyone is upset. It's dramatic. Almost immediately after making this discovery, the darkness breaks through the barrier into our world and begins destroying everything. Cameron rushes back to Coventry just in time to meet Alex and her birth mother right before Thantos arrives. Alex and Cameron confront their uncle about his crimes, but he just kind of laughs and attacks their mom. Darkness overtakes the room and is about to overtake the entire kingdom when Alex and Cameron realize that it's not actually light that will defeat the darkness, but love. So they begin calling out the names of everyone they love. They're sobbing. It's beautiful and cheesy at the same time. And they're able to push back the darkness and restore light to Coventry. The movie ends with everyone, including their birth mother Miranda, Karsh and Illeana, Cameron's family Lucinda, and several others enjoying the aftermath of the birthday party, and Alex and Cameron sing their little theme song, Go Twitches, Go Twitches, it's our birthday. And that is Twitches.
I love
There
it.
is so much to explain so that you can understand all the moving elements and pieces.
No, yeah, it is like for an hour and a half movie, it's like a thick movie. There's so much that happens.
Especially when you start getting into like the Coventry history and the prophecy and the family dynamics. It's not even that complicated. There's just so much.
Yeah. Well, here's a fun fact. I cut this out of my intro, but it's worth mentioning now. I think the reason why it is so rich, this is actually based on a 10-book series. Did you know that?
10? I knew there was a book. I didn't realize there was 10.
Yeah, I feel like this movie is maybe just the first book or like the first few books, but like it's like a chunky world in these books that they put into an hour and a half movie. So I think they did a great job.
It kind of shows because you can tell there's a lot more behind the mysticism and the history of Coventry that they just don't get into. And I remember whenever we get to the second one, they do eventually get more into that. But it's like in the first movie, you hardly get anything. But it's very clear it's like there is a woven backstory. We just don't know it yet.
For sure. Yeah. I feel like this would have been an excellent like TV series as well. Like I'm glad it's a movie. I loved Twitches, but like I feel like we could have really seen something really great if it was a whole series or even like a limited series. They didn't really do those back then, but like a 12-episode arc, you know, be cool.
Yes, it would be. I really appreciated too how they just dove right into it. There wasn't a lot of exposition at the beginning. It was mostly show don't tell. So like you don't know who Aaron is, you don't know who the girls are, you don't know why they're being taken away. It just kind of shows you what's going on and you have to kind of figure it out as the movie progresses, which, you know, DCOMs, quite often, they just kind of word vomit all the exposition. So I like that in this one they did more show not tell.
Yeah, I think I notoriously hate long, lengthy exposition. Like I would rather I don't like to be insulted by a movie. I want to be able to think for myself. I don't want you to tell me everything because why would you insult my intelligence? I can figure it out. I'm a smart girl. So like I enjoy movies that are like, welcome to the world, here's the world, we're in it, let's go. And I have to catch up. And I know some people hate that, but like that's what I actually prefer.
Yeah, I kind of can appreciate both. I guess it depends on the movie for me. In this case, I liked that it was a little bit more confusing at the beginning and we get to kind of figure it out. I do wish it wasn't so blatantly obvious that Thantos is evil because like I said in the intro that we don't know, but like we know he's evil from the start. From go, you're just like he's the bad guy.
Yeah,
So,
he's saying ominous
that's a little
lines. There's
disappointing.
music playing in the background that's really creepy anytime he's on screen. You're like, oh, okay.
Plus, he's wearing gloves. And anybody who wears gloves in a movie, as we learned from Hans, they're evil.
They're evil, yes. Noted. Write that down, listeners. Write that down.
Also, like, this is a family podcast, but I just have to be adult here. Like, has he never taken those gloves off when he's married to the queen? Has she never seen his hands when they have these scars on them? Like,
only darkness.
I'm feeling like there's sometimes he may have wanted to take the gloves off. Just saying.
He's like, it's a germ thing, you know. Don't worry about it. It's fine.
Oh my gosh.
Don't
I get
ask
the sense
questions.
that they were never romantic partners. But then he keeps saying that he loves her. So then I'm like, wait, no, they were. Anyways, I don't want to go too far into that. I was just like, you've never seen his hands before? Like it's been 10 years. No, it's been
It's been
21
21
years.
Yeah, yeah. Listen, are there plot holes? Yes, it's a DCOM, but it's okay.
That's the end of your sentence. I thought there was
that's
more.
the end of the sentence. Nope, that's the end of the sentence. So, what did you think of this as a kid?
I loved it as a kid. Exactly what we said before. It's spooky, it's fun, it's witchy. I mean, I wasn't really into like the whole witch thing growing up, but I love movies that have like magical elements and fantasy, and these aren't scary witches. They're adorable. So, I loved it growing up. What about you?
This was probably my favorite Halloween DCOM, I will say. Maybe tied with Halloween Town because I do love that movie, but like this was the one that I was always the most excited to watch when it was on TV, I think.
This was the only Halloween movie that I was familiar with because, as I've said before, I knew about Halloween Town. I had seen it, but I didn't even really watch it all the way through until I was older, like college age. So I feel like this was like my only exposure to Halloween DCOM. So I really did love it. It was just always the thing to watch in the fall season on Disney Channel.
Yeah. I guess we can jump into this now, but I really related to Alex so much. Like I am a writer and since I was like a little kid have always just written like long expansive stories and other worlds and fantasy things and was kind of like a kid in my own brain who felt like an adult like from very small age, and I get that sense from Alex kind of because it seems like she had to grow up fast. I didn't necessarily have to. I think I just did. So whenever I saw this movie, I was always like, oh yeah, she's me. Like that's reflected in me. Like I can fight darkness. Like I can do these cool things because she can, and we're so similar. And I always loved that part as a kid.
I like that you were able to be inspired by her to fight darkness. That's so sweet. I love that.
Yeah.
I could relate to both of them. So I know we kind of joked about I'm definitely more Cameron for sure, but I didn't relate to everything about her. So just briefly, the only ways I really related to Alex is that I also was pretty adult and independent as a kid, and I cannot draw. I am a writer as well, and I write when the moon is up. So I could connect with her in those ways. I'm much more like Cameron, though, in my personality. I'm not as selfish as she was at the beginning of the movie.
Yes, you're definitely not. You're definitely not.
I'm a lot more grounded than her. I think my family raised me to be much more aware of the world, but just that idea of like having joy, being very bubbly, being very like optimistic and extroverted and like loving life, getting really excited about stuff, like that's so me. Having a really healthy relationship with my family, which is not always portrayed in films with teenagers.
Yeah.
I feel like I really connected to her in that way. And just like her overall enjoyment of life and that she's able to like get people to realize like it's not bad to have fun. It's not bad to be excited about things, even if life is tough. She has a long journey to go on to understanding what pain is. So I don't think she's actually learned how to be joyful in pain yet, but she kind of goes on that journey a little bit throughout the course of this one day. But yeah, so I definitely relate to her more. I'm very extroverted and loud like she is.
Yeah. I love that both these characters were like, yes, Cameron can be a little bit ridiculous and like Alex can be a little bit sour, but both of them were so realistic. And I think that it's easy to like both of them instantly. Even if you're like, wow, Cameron's really like self absorbed, you can't help but love her because she's just having a great time in life. And you're like, I don't know if we could hold a conversation, but boy, is it fun to have you in the circle, you know?
Yes, I agree. She brings so much positivity, which people really need.
Yeah. I think this is a good segue to kind of talk about how your background and how you were raised kind of shapes your perspective on the world. Because obviously they both grew up in such different environments. And it really, I think, affected their personalities, but also kind of affects how they respond to finding out that they're twins, finding out that they have magical powers, finding out that they have a birth mother who is alive, you know?
Mm-hmm. My husband made a good point when we were watching the opening scene that the hospitals that they get dropped off in are very clearly in different parts of
Oh, yeah.
town. And that affects how they're then adopted and who they're adopted by and the kind of life they're about to lead. And he literally was like, "What is this janky hospital? Why are they bringing her there? Like the other girl got such a nice hospital. Why is, I think it was Karsh that brought Alex to the like more rundown hospital?"
I don't remember which one, but yeah.
Whoever brought her there, he was like, "Why are they bringing her there? That is so like gross and run down." And I was like, "Well, that's the idea, is she's going to then be adopted by someone in a more rundown neighborhood and have a bit of a humbler life, you know." They're kind of setting
Yeah.
that up. And that's another idea of how they did that whole show don't tell thing. Like they didn't just give you no reason why these girls ended up where they did.
Yeah. And I think that it was very smart of the writer to show the different family units that they had, because Cameron grows up, yes, they're both adopted, but Cameron grows up with two very attentive parents who clearly love her and are wealthy and support her in anything she wants to do. And then Alex grows up with a single mom. And she even says, like, when mom was in grad school, we were living in a trailer in Montana or whatever she says. So, like, she, yes, only had one mom, but she also struggled, like, financially, moved around a fair amount, lived in a lot of different places, and then lost her mom 3 months ago before the movie starts. And having to deal with that and living on a friend's couch because she doesn't have a job because she doesn't know what to do, you know? And she's dealing with this grief, and kind of the last thing that she wants right now is a giant life change of, hey, you have a twin sister and you're magical, and don't worry about your dead mom because your birth mom is alive. She's like, I can't take all of that right now. Like she's in a heavy place, and it's like it's too much responsibility to accept, right? To create these new relationships. To Cameron's joy is too much when she first meets Alex, because Alex isn't able to accept that kind of joy in her life right now.
Yes, and I think she's also processing some immediate resentment that she faces towards Cameron. Like, not
Oh,
only
yeah.
does this girl have a lot of money, but she has a really great family dynamic and all these
Mm-hmm.
friends, and she's got security and assurance about her future. And so I think there's this immediate, like, I'm supposed to love you or something because you're my sister, I guess. And now we have magical power, so I can't get away from you. And
Mm-hmm.
also, like, I kind of already don't like you. And I'm already feeling maybe some jealousy as well that she's like trying to overcome. And that's a lot of energy to process all of that at once.
And then it's also about accepting responsibility for, like, being the saviors of this kingdom that they didn't know about a couple hours ago, you know? And Cameron at first is like, yes, this is amazing. I love everything. And Alex is like, I can't take on more. And then once the danger gets real, there's that reversal, right? Where Alex is like, no, somebody needs me. And I need to step up so that somebody, like, I can fulfill the need because somebody needs me. It's important to be wanted and needed. And Cameron is afraid of failure, of responsibility in general, of the unknown, you know? And she's never had to do anything hard in her life. So immediately being faced with an obstacle makes her go, "Oh, never mind, I don't want anything to do with this," you know? And then they have to encourage each other back to that place.
I'm so glad you brought that up because in my notes, I didn't notice it as much as you did that there's that reversal there. I just said like this plot doesn't make much sense because on one moment Alex is like, this is the worst thing ever. And Cameron's like, we're doing great. We can take anything. I feel bad for the ghoulie that tries to take us down. And then just
Mhm.
immediately, Alex is like, we're invincible. We have to do this. And Cameron's like, I want to go to my party. And I was like, well, that's dumb. That doesn't make sense how quick they just switched. But you're totally right. You've enlightened me as to like the deeper reason why. Because Alex had this shift from, I can't take on more responsibility to someone needs me. I have a purpose again. Let me run towards that.
Exactly. Because she's floating aimlessly at the beginning of the film, right? She doesn't have a job. She doesn't have somewhere to live. She has no family. She has friends, right? But it's not even her friend's house, it's her friend's mom's house, and like she's she's completely lost. And it kind of seems like she only has the one friend, and while that's great, her friend has a job, her friend goes to work, she sits there scribbling stories at night and she doesn't know why. And like, she's just lost. And so when she finally finds something that fulfills the need inside her to have a purpose, it's really hard for her to let that go. And the thing is that she can't do it alone. It has to be both of them, right? Both sisters. And so that's a huge betrayal. And it's why those girls fight so much when Cameron says no, when she takes the selfish choice and says, I'm not interested, I'm going back to my safe life. And Alex goes, well, I can't do this without you. And so then that starts that seed of resentment for a twin sister that won't stand, doesn't have the same values as her, and won't fight with her.
Right. Misplaced expectations.
Exactly.
The root of almost all arguments.
Oh yeah, for sure. And they've only known each other a few hours, and they want so badly these things from each other without doing the deep work to understand who each other is first, you know?
Right, because lest we forget, this entire story takes place over the course of one day.
Yeah, like less than 24 hours.
Crazy.
I think Tia and Tamera did an excellent job acting this, and it just makes me think like how much fun it must be to act like alongside your sister, you know?
That was one of my points too. I think because
Yeah?
I also have a sister, I was like, I can't imagine what it was like to act as a sister with your real life sister.
For sure. Yeah, my sister and I have done theater together. And in particular, just a little throwback real quick. So we did a play called Anne of Green Gables, and she played Anne, and I played her best friend Diana. And being in those scenes where it was just the two of us was like so much fun because I know my sister so freaking well, and she knows me so well that like it was just easy, you know, to play best friends. It was so easy to see every single emotion, know what she's thinking, know what she's feeling, and like reflect it back, you know? And I just wonder like how much more that was amplified in this movie that probably took, I don't know, a month to film or 6 weeks or whatever.
That's so fun. I remember Megan telling me about that show because Anne of Green Gables is like her favorite thing on earth. And I
Yeah.
love that she got to play Anne and you were her best friend.
Yeah.
Taylor is not into the theater acting thing as much as me. She loves movies, but I mean, she's the coolest person I know. Let me just put that out there. But she's like a marine biologist kind of cool, like swam with great white sharks in Africa kind of cool. So I've never had the blessing of acting with her. The closest we've ever gotten was doing a Disney vlog together, which is like my favorite thing ever to watch. So, but I would imagine if we ever had the opportunity to act or even just like be like if we had her on the podcast or something, like I would love to get to interact with her in a way where, you know, there's like a persona that we're portraying that's not us, but we get to bring in the real us into that, you know, because with this story, it's a little odd. Like they have to pretend they don't know each other at all. And that's challenging when you know everything about a person. And they're also playing versions of themselves, not even really of themselves. They're playing characters. I don't know if they're really like their characters at all. But the fact that they said like, hey, can we switch? I'm more like this one makes me think that maybe they have some kind of like similarities. But yeah, it's got to be weird. Like you're playing sisters, but you're not even playing the same sister. Like you're not playing yourself. I don't know.
Yeah.
That feels like it might be a little bit challenging, actually.
Did you ever watch Sister Sister?
No.
At all? None of it?
I don't even know what that is. Was it on Disney?
That's a great question. I don't know. But regardless, this is the show that Tia and Tamera were on where they played sisters.
Like they were playing themselves or different sisters?
I mean, they weren't themselves, but they were like kind of themselves. I don't know. They like it was the same sort of thing where they're twins, they didn't know, and they meet each other. It's actually very similar because they meet also when they're shopping. Anyway, I'm trying to remember. They like blend their families together, and then they have to learn how to like be a blended family. Anyway, it's a whole thing. It's a very good show. You should actually watch it. But anyway, you made me think of that. It was a long running show, and they got to act with each other growing up. This was pre-Twitches. I know that. So pretty cool to like grow up on screen. So then possibly
it wasn't so challenging because they had been doing it for years anyways.
Oh yeah, they've acted in so many things together. So I feel like they know each other better than anything in the world, you know? So it was probably just so comforting to have someone that you know has got your back no matter what.
For sure. But that kind of a project that has that level of longevity to it makes me wonder if they ever struggle with like, where does our acting end and us being true sisters begin? Like, do we even really know each other
Yeah.
outside of the characters we play? If you're growing up playing sisters for so long, it's different when it's one movie. That's where I felt like the challenge came from, was to just switch off. We're real life sisters and now we're on screen sisters. But I guess if they've
Yeah.
been doing it forever, yeah, I would definitely struggle with like feeling like I was performing, even if I was like alone in the car, with my sister, and being
Right.
like, oh, wait, we have to put on a certain personality type.
Yeah. Well, Tamera, come on the podcast. Let us know what your acting journey together was like. We're very curious.
I would love to meet them. They would be really fun to meet, I think.
I know. I think so too. You know who else I would love to meet? I would love to meet the actors who played Illeana and Karsh.
They're
Or
so funny.
maybe I just want to meet Illeana and Karsh, like the characters. They're
Yeah, I don't really care about the actors so much.
hands down my absolute favorite. I think that they are why I love this movie so much. Their improv, their little side moments are the best part of the movie. I love them so much.
You know who they remind me of?
Hmm.
The historians in the Frozen sing-along at Hollywood Studios.
Yes, absolutely yes. Yeah,
I was thinking that the whole time.
Yes, you're like, are they in love? Do they hate each other? What is happening? Like,
I love how they wrote that in. Like, the movie was self-aware that it's ambiguous.
I know.
And she's
I
like,
know.
you guys are a couple? And he's like, on and off for the last 20 years.
Oh my gosh, I love it so much. All right, dude, tell me, what is the public's opinion?
Yes, our public opinion. So, the critics on Rotten Tomatoes, which, by the way, like, can they sponsor us? Because I feel like we're giving them so much audience to go to Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, come on, Rotten Tomatoes.
So, the tomato meter, this is going to shock you, I think. The tomato meter and the popcorn meter are the closest they've ever been. And
Okay.
it's positive. The
Okay.
tomato meter is 60%.
Ooh,
And the
okay.
popcorn meter is 65%. A plus everyone.
Yeah, good job, guys. I really do think this is one of those movies that like everyone our age actually enjoyed. So that makes me happy. I'm not super surprised, but it does make me happy.
Now, despite these high scores, I don't know why the scores are so high, because people were very negative in their reviews. I'm not going to lie. So many people left a comment that they were terrible actresses, that they're just the worst and they're not convincing as sisters, which I disagreed with.
I disagree.
But many people said it. So I picked a few reviews. I tried to find some more positive ones, but just know, like, I don't know why the scores are so high. Maybe just a lot of people left high scores and didn't leave a comment. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, anyways, okay, here are some critic reviews. Justin Carriero says, Twitches had the perfect mix of what I love: magic, drama, and the return of 90s teen stars Tia and Tamera Mowry. So that's nice.
Yes, love it.
Then we have Rachel Wagner. I think we may have heard from her before because her name sounds familiar. Anyways, she says, there's sort of cheesy TV level magic, but it worked.
Yeah, if I could just add on that, the only thing that I would call bad about this movie is the CGI and the green screens. I wouldn't say the acting is Oscar worthy, but I don't think they did a bad job.
I agree completely. I would say the CGI beats Smart House. I'll give them that.
Well, they had a few years on them, you know?
Yeah, but like just by a slim margin, it's still pretty bad.
Yeah.
Our final critic review, Kevin Carr. For the Disney princess crowd that's moving into their teenage years, Twitches should work. It's not bad per se, but it's just another Disney Channel original movie.
Nope, disagree. Disagree strongly.
Well, those were some of the positive ones. Let's move on to the audience.
Yeah.
This one's good.
Okay.
Twin Witches Twitches. Hands down the best Disney movie out there. I watch it every year at Halloween. It is such an enjoyable film. A must-see if you like Tia and Tamera or if you're a fan of Schitt's Creek. I don't know where that comes from. Are they in that?
Oh, I will certainly tell you when we get to the Where Are They Now?
Oh, okay.
Yes, Sammy, you're my girl and or boy. I don't know. But you get it. You get it.
And then finally, we have, I forgot about this one until I looked at my notes. This is from Unknown, Anonymous. They didn't leave a name. I don't know why. Best film ever, Karsh and Mark are my daddies.
Oh.
I was like, what?
Well,
But it was one of the only positive reviews, I think.
if you have strong feelings about that, I'm glad that you enjoyed the movie.
I think it's time for us to move on now. I'm sensing. Tell us where they are now.
I will. Get ready. Actually, don't get ready.
I'm
That
ready.
sounded like it's going to be very dramatic. It's not. All right.
Yeah, you got me so excited / scared.
All right, we're going to start with our girls, okay? So Tamera Mowry, who played the level-headed Alex, has continued a very successful career in TV and film. She also wrote a memoir and a bunch of cookbooks, and she hosts her own YouTube channel, and she owns a vitamin and supplement brand. So she's rocking it, like ultimate female entrepreneur. Yeah.
I mean, that was so many things. I don't even know what to comment on.
Right. She has 2 kids. She has been very vulnerable and open about her journey through motherhood on social media. And she has been diagnosed with endometriosis, which she talks about like very vulnerably. And yeah, she is honestly doing it all. I don't know how she does. I'm sure she has many assistants, but like the woman is kind of doing a little bit of everything, and I love that.
I mean, it makes sense based on the character she plays. If she's anything like that character, that's where Alex was headed anyways.
Oh, yeah.
Wow, like kids, vitamins, and a cookbook. What a life.
Yeah, and a memoir and a YouTube channel. Like, come on. She's doing pretty well.
Proud of her.
Also, I do little thing just to add. This is not even in my notes, but Tia and Tamera are both stunningly gorgeous still to this day. When you go to their Instagram pages, you're like, holy crap, you're like 40 and you look incredible. Like, they look so freaking good.
So beautiful. Like, when I turned on the movie, I was like, what a refreshing take on teenage women or 21-year-old women in a Disney movie.
Right.
They were so gorgeous and real, and I just was like,
and not
this is
little
awesome.
sticks. Not little sticks.
Yes.
I appreciated that so much. Mm-hmm. So her sister, Tamera Mowry, who played preppy little Cameron, she has also seen more acting success post-Twitches, but she's probably most well-known now for her 7-year-long run hosting the daytime talk show The Real, which she won 2 Emmys with, along with her co-stars.
I had no idea she was on that.
Yeah, I knew she hosted a talk show, but I didn't know which one it was, if I'm being real honest. But yeah, it's called The Real, and she's been doing pretty well for that. I think it just recently ended. She's also launched a YouTube channel. She's also written a book, although this one, not a memoir, it's a middle grade fantasy book. Get this, about twin sisters with magical abilities.
Where did she get that idea?
I have no idea, but I want to read it so freaking bad. She
really
also
good.
has 2 kids, and she owns a vineyard with her husband.
Okay, that's my favorite part. What is up with these women just doing all the things? It's honestly, like they went into a grab bag of hobbies and activities and just pulled random ones out and were like, I'm going to take that, I'm going to take that, I'm going to do that with my life. And just successfully did it all.
For sure. Okay, I got 2 more that I want to cover real quick. So Patrick Fabian, who played bad guy Thantos, not Thanos, Thantos, has continued to see his star on the rise, basically. I mean, you've probably seen him guest star on several of your favorite TV shows. He is best known for his critically acclaimed role in Breaking Bad's prequel Better Call Saul, which is a show that I auditioned for probably 500,000 times, at least. And that number might be a slight exaggeration, but not by much.
That's exciting.
Never got on it, though, and now it's over, so it's fine. Anyway.
You could have met him.
Probably would have. I mean, like, it filmed in Albuquerque, which is where I was living at the time and live currently. And, like, apparently he loves the city and he's always here. So maybe one day. And I'll be like, oh my gosh, you're Thantos from Twitches. And he'll be like, most people don't recognize me from that one.
Maybe he'd be like, thank you. No, my best work. And nobody brings it up.
Yeah, so
I wore
crazy.
Gloves for 3 months and nobody noticed.
And then I'm going to ask him, did you do your character work? And did you ever think about, did he ever take the gloves off? And he's going to be like, okay, security, this lady's weird. And
and as you're being pulled away, you're like, do you want to be on my podcast?
You want to be on my podcast? I'm like, no. All right. Lastly, I just want to touch on my very favorite, Jennifer Robertson, who played quirky little weirdo Illeana. I thought that I hadn't seen her in anything since this movie, but the internet enlightened me. She has been very active in television comedies. She has been playing Jocelyn Shit on the previous hilarious show Schitt's Creek. And I have seen that show and I didn't recognize
circle.
her. Yeah. But when I went back and looked, I was like, how on earth did I not recognize her? Of course that's her. And she is so funny on that show. I should have known.
Okay, I've never seen it, but sounds cool. I feel like I've seen her in more. Is she in anything else?
Oh, yeah. No, she's been in a bunch of television comedy stuff. That was just like the really big thing that I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I didn't recognize her from this.
Right. Yeah, I wouldn't have known her from that because I haven't seen it, but I feel like I've seen her. I feel like I've seen Karsh before too, so I'll have to look
He's been
that up.
around,
Maybe
yeah.
I have.
Yeah. So, yeah, absolutely loving this cast, all of the success that they have seen since 2005, and this delightful little DCOM.
This was a really fun one. I enjoyed it. And I feel like especially after we did Under Wraps, which we hadn't seen, and then Zombies, which we hadn't seen, both from very different eras. Neither one of them are nostalgic era necessarily. This hit home. This was like our era. We had both seen it. It feels like we're kind of like back in our rhythm. Not that I don't love the other ones. Like, as you know, I loved Zombies and I loved Under Wraps, but this just felt so like delicious for me during this season.
Yes. No, I 1,000,000% agree. It was just like, so happy.
So happy. So with that being said, we should look forward to next week and what we're watching then.
Yes.
Are you ready?
I am so ready. Spin that wheel.
Okay, so as a reminder, in case you guys don't know, we're doing all Halloween-themed DCOMs for the month of October, which is 5 total. We're going into week 4 here, building up. So far we've done, as I said, Under Wraps, the original DCOM. Then we did Zombies, the first one. Then we just did Twitches. Natalie, can you tell us what we have left?
Yeah, so we only have 5 left on this list because a reminder, we're not doing sequels, not this time around. So we've got Mom's Got a Date with a Vampire, Halloween Town, Girl vs. Monster, Phantom at the Megaplex, and Don't Look Under the Bed.
Right. And we're also not doing remakes. So if you want to see the new Under Wraps, you may or may not get to see it next year at this time. Yeah. All right. So we have our random spinny generator pulled up. Here we go. Let's find out what we're watching.
So excited.
Dun, 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 dun. All right. I was kind of hoping for Halloween Town, but unfortunately that is not it. It's Mom's Got a Date with a Vampire, which also looks really good.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, I'm excited. I feel like I've maybe seen this once, but I don't remember anything about it.
I don't remember it at all, so I don't think I've seen it ever, but I have seen the actress who's the lead in other things, and I know I really like her, so I feel like it's going to be really funny. The poster for it on Disney Plus looks really cute, so I don't know. I think it'll be good.
Yay! I'm so excited.
Me too. So everybody watch the movie this week so that you're prepared for our conversation.
Especially if you've never seen it, guys. You actually have to watch these movies before you listen. Come on.
Yes. Although I have heard some people tell me they love watching it after because like listening to our episode gets them more excited to go rewatch it.
Okay. That's cute. All right, everybody. We love you. Happy spooky season.
Have a great day. Bye. Thank you all so much for listening to this episode of Once Upon a DCOM.
Like what you just heard? Leave us a rating and review. We'd love to hear your thoughts.
Also follow us on Instagram and TikTok at onceuponadecom.podcast and share this podcast with your Disney-loving friends.
A big thanks to Gabby for editing this whole podcast together.
Thanks, friend. And don't forget to subscribe because there's always a new episode on the way. This is Gabriella
and Natalie
signing off with a sprinkle of pixie dust
and a whole lot of nostalgia.